Yeah, so our challenge this week is to start building up our darks. So for me, some of you are kind of darker in places than others. For me, that really means pushing like in here and in here and in here, and then trying to I think I need to kind of pink this up a little bit. So as I start to practice, I don't know if you can see over here, I was starting to mix colors. So this is like ultramarine blue and quinacridone red, which makes this kind of more burgundy color. And this cobalt, which is over here, cobalt is a very different kind of blue. And when I mix pink with that, I get something that could probably work better up here. The big thing is I don't want my red to overwhelm. So I started out by kind of testing some of these colors. You can see I'm mixed and I'm testing, and you might have slightly different colors. Paul, if I remember correctly, you were having some success with alizarin crimson, right?
Right. Yeah.
No, I used rose, cadmium rose.
Oh, you're using cadmium rose. Okay, maybe it was
No,
Paul.
I can't use alizarin crimson. I just
But
don't
we
think
might try. Yeah. So this is the
not
week
sure.
to start trying stuff. What I can definitely see is that for me, the cobalt is giving me the cooler blue, which is really on top here. But I can also see that there are little bits of pink. That's partly because of the way the light is reflecting on the flower. So as I start getting darker, let's see, what is this? This is cobalt blue, a little bit of quin red, and then I'm putting in a touch of alizarin. I'm doing all three because I think I like that. And then I'm gonna lay that into the darkest parts here. There's a little bit more dark here. Does everybody have the, and then I notice that it gets slightly bluer as I move up. So I'm like adding a little bit more blue as I move up the petal. Does everybody have a copy of this that they can see? I've got this one here, and I'm kind of constantly getting I'm not able to get too far before I have to go in and clean up. But the other thing I'm paying attention to, oh wow, that's a lot. The other thing I'm paying attention to is a little bit more brushstroke direction. So right here is a little thinner, lighter line. And I think I might try to achieve that by actually literally leaving a space. See that in between? So I'm using like the edge of my flat brush. We have other tricks up our sleeve if we can't get this. I'm also wanting just a tiny bit more. I'm kind of going back and forth. There are other things we can do to kind of bring out the lights if we lose them. So I don't want you to despair. But see how like just darkening this to more of this color, this value is really helping this entire composition. So depending on where you are, you might want to start with this top layer. What I can see is that there's a little folded up area here. I'm gonna outline it in blue. And that's lighter. Right? Then what's happening here? It's also slightly pinker. So I'm toying with But you know, this is really the point. Oh yeah, that's actually working pretty well. Can you see that I kind of preserved this light line by layering my dark and leaving a little bit of an edge? That's not the worst. Not the worst thing that could have happened there. And then there's a similar kind of dark, kind of cobalt blue and different reds dark. Up here behind.
This is kind of a grayish purple.
I mean, I'm not using any grays for this. It technically is.
I'm talking about when you put the green in there because of the color.
I didn't put any green in. Where did
Oh.
you see green?
No, I did and I liked it, so I think I'm gonna use it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you could. That's not
Yeah.
the worst thing you could do. How do you like that?
For the
Worst thing you could do,
for
right?
maybe with the colors, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like this thing, but really what you're starting to pay attention now to is like what we call the darker midtones.
Yeah.
What's a midtone? A midtone is like the middle between light and dark. So it's like if 5 is a dark, 4 is a and 1 is light, 2, 3, and 4 are midtones. They're in between light and dark. And there is like so much going on in this flower, honestly. You could be kept very busy going around and around. We're not going to go for every detail. I was actually, I mean, I don't know how you guys felt. I was really pleasantly surprised by how well they all came at the end of last week. I thought, oh, hey. And see how I'm kind of bringing in my darks. Cobalt blue is really working for me up here. Cobalt blue is nice. It's kind of this is a little bit, and I'm noticing in some areas as I work down this composition, some areas are slightly more pinky. Oops. I'm really avoiding right now this area. I'm going to do some things with it, but not quite yet. And this is a little bit lighter than what's happening up here. So here, I'm just using what's left on my paintbrush from painting these darker areas to add in some here. But I want this whole, gotta be careful. There's this interesting kind of light that's in here. I don't want to lose. So really now I'm just working to push my darts on this cool side of the flower by layering. I can do that here too. Still leaving these lighter areas white because I haven't, not quite ready to integrate them yet. I can also see a little bit of this light bluish color coming down in a very light way, coming down here. kind of up here. Like that. I'm gonna leave it there. Almost wishing I had quinacridone magenta. I have quinacridone red. It would be nice to have quinacridone magenta to get a little bit more of this crazy pink happening. I might not be able to mix it, but how many of you have a little bit of gouache?
I do.
Because look what I have. I have primary magenta. I have this crazy hot pink color and gouache. So it might be, and if you look at it here, I'll show you here. Can you see how, it's a little hard to see. I'll take a picture of it so you can really see it. That is actually, this gouache color is more the color of this area here. So I might do a little slight light gouache layer over everything that is in this pink category. So if you happen to have it in another, if you happen to have it in gouache, you might try it. If you don't, we're just, just do the best you can with quin red and crimson, whatever cool warms you, cool colors you've got. I'll show you this here. This is that, I just spread this across. This is that gouache. You'll see it's a little bit heavier than watercolor, a little bit more transparent. And by the way, if you feel like you're just kind of not sure exactly what's going on and you're feeling your way through this, guess what? I feel that way too. So I'm just going for the things I can see. It's okay to be like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. I don't know if this is going to turn out. I think that's an important thing to say because it's easy. Once you do this for a while, you get used to that idea, right? That like, no, I got this. I know where this is going. But then in reality, a lot of times you're like, I don't know where this is going. Oh, I do like that. That's pretty. So I'm drifting in a little of this primary magenta gouache because it's less brown than what I've got underneath. Also gonna
Crazy, Sunny.
make sure I have enough water. And because it's a water-based medium, it's not terrible. It's not, I'm not going to destroy your, oh yeah, that's good. I think that makes things a little bit more hanky. If you don't, really don't worry about it.
What you doing, crazy dog?
I might even very softly brush a little of that
No, Sunny.
into here too. And maybe a bit down here as well. already I'm starting to feel a little bit more anchoring happening. So I'm going to stop at this point, get a little bit of tea water. Have you guys worked for a while and then show me where you're at. You might be at a slightly different point. You may have gotten darker than I did here, which means you're darkening something else, or you're trying to pink a little bit, or you're trying to sort of color adjust. That might be what's happening. And if you don't have the colors, you might want to jot them off to the side somewhere where you will remember them, right? And pick them up in gouache, in watercolor, both of those things.
So Leah, can I ask you something?
Sure.
So this is where I am. I feel like my parts that are supposed to be warm are not really warm.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So how do I fix that?
Well, let me look. I'm going to pop you up here so I can take a look. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right. So you may want to, do you have, so how did you make that color?
I don't remember. I did it last week.
All right. So you're definitely going to want to mix, I'm going to say, try ultramarine blue and crimson. Do you
Okay.
have any quinacridone magenta?
I don't. I
I'm
have rose.
Rose. All right. So try quin red and ultramarine blue. If that's really weird, if you don't like that,
Uh-huh.
what other blues do you have?
Cerulean, cobalt, Prussian.
Try Prussian and quinacridone red. That might get you more of what you're looking for.
Okay.
Or you might do mostly quin red on top.
I don't know if I have quin red. I have crimson. Is it the same?
Quin crimson.
I have crimson red.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same, but it's crimson red actually might be more orange. Take a look at it and see.
Scarlet.
Scarlet might be better. Crimson looks like it might be okay. The whole point is, Lisa, you want to test.
All right.
So really what you need to be doing, and I'll show you here, is you need to adjust that color. So you need to be testing like I did here. Hold on. You need to be testing like I did here with all these different blue and red combinations.
Okay.
So I got what I wanted. So you see, I went over here before I tried. What you want to do is mix something that's a little bit more like this to go on. And you may have to, and you can see I don't exactly have it either. So it's not like we're going to be able to totally nail this one. It's possible we may not have the right colors for it, but you can definitely get warmer. My thought immediately is that crimson might be better, but I don't, depends on how it reacts with your blue.
Okay.
And there should be less blue.
Oh, sorry.
What? I don't know what. I don't know. You know, a lot of times we can't hear what you hear. I'm assuming dogs are barking. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry. My dog is going crazy at a delivery person at the front.
We couldn't hear it. Did
No.
anybody hear that? I couldn't actually hear that.
It's like Sunny has been howling and no one said
Nobody
anything.
said anything. We can't hear her at all. It's funny.
It is.
And then the things that we do here, it's like, what? How is that possible?
Yeah, it seems like you're saying they're more set for human voices. These
Yeah, I
microphones.
think that just like, right, just like the cameras aren't really like human eyes. They're not as complex. So interesting. Anyway, what will happen is as we start to push these darks, we'll begin to feel a little bit more. I'll be able to add in some lighter colors back here. And in fact, I might even try and start doing that now. I'm gonna make this back area very light purple. See how light, because it's so light compared to what's in front. And then maybe bring that down a little bit so that there's still a pretty strong light dark divide. Yeah, I can always layer it up. I can always go darker. What I can't do is, what is less easy is to go lighter. There we go. So I can get in a little bit. You get these lighter colors by using these same mixes and getting more water in them. So you might dip your brush in the water and then get some color and then dip it back in the water and then test it, right? To see, is this light enough? You can see how these darks are starting to build up nicely and how that starts to add a little oomph. I need a new phone. Oh boy, I need a new phone. Sorry, phone, I didn't mean to insult you. It's probably bad form to insult the old phone in front of the yet to be purchased phone.
You need a new phone.
I do, and I definitely, Diana, I'm kind of leaning towards the iPhone, so we'll see. I think I've finally been persuaded.
Does anyone still have a BlackBerry? I was one of the few people who still had a BlackBerry.
You have a BlackBerry?
No,
Wow.
not anymore. I used to. This was well before. My first phone was an iPhone 7.
And before that, it was a BlackBerry, right?
No, after I had an iPhone 7 and then I had an iPhone 8. My iPhone 8, which is the one I have now. So I think next step is to get an iPhone 11 or 12.
Or 14?
Huh?
Or 14?
Or no, they're too because the 14 is going to be like maximum price. I
Oh, yeah,
can't.
that's
I don't
true.
pay- I don't want to pay. I want to pay nothing for my phone, like $50.
I finally brought my phone bill down from like, 200 a month to like 80 because I paid off my phone. And I'm like, my phone is like stopped working. I am sure that is intelligent design, at least for the company.
Yeah.
How is this going for everybody else? Are you feeling it? Are you still like floundering a little bit? Are you starting to see it as you get a little bit darker and you try to kind of manipulate these colors? You try to push the colors by mixing them a little bit more. I'm coming back in here. Wanting to go darker here. So that this edge will really come out. It'll look like the flower is folded over. Also notice that sometimes you leave kind of accidental texture and it also might look kind of rad. You're like, it's not like it's like a cat that falls off the counter. It's like, I meant to do that.
Hmm.
And I'm going to do this because I think it's important to keep it in focus. These areas may not exactly be entirely white, but they're definitely significantly lighter than what's kind of next to them. So when we paint them, we've got to be really sure that we don't go too heavy. Can you see the shapes that are light? How those light shapes stick out? So even though this isn't entirely white, I could put a little tiny bit of color. It should be so light as to almost be transparent. And now I feel a bit better about my darks in general. I feel like they're darker enough. I feel like I could get maybe a little bit darker here. Touch darker here. Darker here. Yeah, so that these whites. Oops, sorry.
Are you abandoning us?
Nope. My phone likes to turn off. There we go. It likes to turn off like if it's been on too long. It's like, nope, done there, done with that. I'm abandoning you next week, but I'll be back the week after that. So this class will just continue. There's 1 week break. There will be no class next week. I'll remind you guys. And then the following week, the spring quarter will start. Paula, I don't know if you were listening to this. I'm feeling like you guys are kind of ready to, I want to move you on to like some structures, like maybe a house with shadows on it or something like that, which I think would be really fun. So I'd like to move you, we can always come back to flowers, but I would like to move you guys on to other things using really dramatic light and shadow play.
That's good.
Yeah, I think you'll find it fun. I was just Paula, what I was trying to tell you at the beginning of class when you came on is I was like, oh, I can tell she's becoming obsessed in a good way. A fellow obsessive.
Definitely.
Right? A little bit, right? You're becoming a little bit obsessed. It's good. It's fantastic. It's the best thing that could possibly happen to you. All these people here are total obsessives.
Yeah.
They've been coming for years. All of them.
Yeah.
All right, let's see
I
where.
see a little obsessiveness in myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of have to be. Let's see. I'm taking a look, Lisa. Hang on. That's better, Lisa. Good job. What did you wind up? Did you use Prussian blue?
I did Prussian blue and scarlet.
All right. So use a little bit of just scarlet
Okay.
on the light areas. Can you see where I'm pointing here? The light
Yeah.
area.
Okay.
here.
Yep.
Try a little bit of just scarlet on.
Okay.
You don't want to get quite as you're not. You'll
Yeah.
notice, although this is dark, it's more like a 3 to a 5, not a 1 to a 5, right? So I really like how it looks down here. That scarlet is a good color. Good. I like it.
Yeah, it took me a while.
Yeah,
get it
yeah. But I
mixed
like
right.
it. Very nice. Good work. It's all just testing, really.
It is.
Particularly with watercolor, you just have to be so careful. There's a lot, you have to accept that you can't really control everything, and then also to layer carefully so you can do damage control. There's a few nice touches we're going to be able, once you guys get the darks of these heavy petals up here, the big petals, dark enough and light enough, we're going to move on to some of these other things here to add some detail, to add some brights. That should be kind of fun. Then I think things start to get interesting. So you guys let me know when you're ready to do that. I think with watercolor, you kind of have to be obsessed. If you're not, it's too easy to make mistakes. With acrylic, you can kind of, you can correct stuff a lot easier. With watercolor, you really can't go. There's some no going back. Oh, you guys are doing that.
I'm just gonna send you a picture of mine because I have no idea what I'm doing here.
Okay, great. I'm right there with you, girlfriend. But yeah,
I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
send it over. I'm so with you though. Just want to
It's like, what is going on?
send it over. Let's take a look.
I think I just sent it. Did you get it?
Let me see. Often takes a little bit of a minute for it to show up on the computer. Let's see. Ah, it's coming across.
Okay.
Oh, honey, that's looking beautiful. Oh, I like it. I like it. You're a teeny tight touch. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, I kept different colors kept mixing. So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just-
that's okay.
yeah,
I'm looking at a big, hang on, I'm looking at it. Oh, I don't know. It's really starting to come together. I love the colors that you mixed for the top petals.
Mhm.
What blue did you use?
I used cobalt.
And what was the red?
The red was crimson, and then I used a touch of magenta.
Very nice. That was a really, I can see that decision. That's really coming along well. But I know that feeling that you're having. I have it a little bit myself, just to be honest with you. I'm like, oh my God, what are we gonna do now? So don't worry. Don't worry. We're all the same kind of feeling.
It's fun though. Oh,
It sure is.
I love it.
Mm.
Is Leah gone? I see her one phone.
Uh-huh. Yeah, she'll be back. She'll be back when she buys a new phone.
Oh, she said she forgot to plug in her computer. She's coming back. I just saw the message.
Ah,
God, sorry, that was excessive. Anyway, don't worry.
Was
We're gonna-
that your phone? We thought maybe you won't come back till you've changed your phone.
No, it was actually my computer. You know, talk about obsessive. I totally got so involved in this process, I forgot to plug in my computer. So my computer died, which is where, let's see, is it, who is listed as the host? Am I the host? Is my phone the host? Diana, might you be listed as the host?
I don't know. Let me check.
Is that-
Let me check. No, you are the host.
I'm the host. Okay, great. Okay, so let me start this again. No, I'm not the host.
Yes,
Shit.
you are.
Unfortunately, I think I'm the host on my phone. Now, hang on. I've got to figure out how to. I'm gonna leave.
Okay, so you have to go in on your phone then.
You
and-
actually are. Oh, here. Oh, yeah, I got it. I got it. I figured it out. All right, there we are. Great. Assign. All right, I'm gonna leave on my phone and come back in. There we are. Okay, give me just a second. So what I'd like you guys to do is get yourself some fresh tubed color of yellow, quin red, and burnt sienna, if you've got it. Give yourself fresh piles. I want them to be wet. We're gonna try a couple of things. Hold on, and then I'm gonna jump in here again. There we go. All right. Join. Don't wait. No, don't leave the meeting. Okay. Nope, nope, leave. There we go.
Should I
Sorry.
use that scarlet if I don't have quin red
Sure.
or crimson red?
Well, leave them, give yourself both. You want some, what we're gonna try and do is get these, here, hold on a second, let me get back on here. Effectively, there we go. Don't turn my audio. Okay. What we want to do is we're going to start to layer in some of these yellows and oranges and these stripes. And I want to try and use, I'll show you.
All right, I need to clean off my palette. I got stuff everywhere.
You could totally do that. There's nothing telling you, that definitely is a good thing to do. I am piling up some, oh, here, hold on. Pop this up so you can see it.
I
Here we
think I need to leave my painting for a little while. It's not happening. I'm gonna send over where I'm at.
Okay.
But I get so much shine in the picture when I take photos. So
Is there a lot of, are you using a lot of stuff or?
no, it's because I have strong light on. And if I turn the light off, then I don't get the colors at all. So
Right.
I'm gonna try to do that, but I'll send it as it is now.
Okay.
I'm gonna see if it gets better if I turn off the.
Can you guys see, by the way, that this is kind of wet burnt sienna? This is wet cadmium yellow. This
I'm
is
gonna see if
wet
it's better if I.
scarlet red.
I don't have cadmium yellow. I have
What have you
pink.
got? What have you got?
I have gamboge. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Yellow pale, lemon yellow.
Grab some lemon yellow.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take a little bit without getting my brush wet. Can you see how I've loaded my brush with paint, but my brush is not, I mean, my brush is damp. But I have a lot of water on here, of paint on here. I want to kind of brush it on, but sort of dry.
I think the bottom is truer to the colors, but it's not quite that dark.
Okay. Sandra, I'm gonna take a look at it in just a second.
Yeah.
And here I'm doing almost spots of yellow. Kind of where these like fuzzy. Can you see how I laid that on quite heavy? And then I'm going to clean this brush out. So here, so hold on so you can see. I'm cleaning the brush out. I'm going to squeeze it dry. So what I'm doing is I'm using some of the tubed paint. This kind of burnt sienna. I did the same thing here. And I'm kind of laying it down more dry, less, I'm not getting it so wet, and I'm using kind of the tube paint to dot in. Maybe a little bit here too. Ah, that's too much. Bit more. So you see how I'm really like, there we go. I'm not really getting I'm not getting things so wet. And and then actually what we also need is white. So where is my watercolor? So if you've got some tubed white watercolor paint, I just bought more. That's blue. Like I've actually got like titanium white watercolor paint. Laying that down there. I'm going to do a little bit of the same thing. So the idea is that it's a little bit stronger, right? See, look at all this paint I've got.
I've
And-
got one called Chinese white. What's that
Yeah,
about?
use Chinese white. That's a very typical
Okay.
watercolor, like white color.
Okay. Okay.
And then here and here, you can only do a little bit. Seems to be working. In here. So you don't really want to get it wet. So what you can see I'm doing here is I'm able to push things a little bit lighter. And they also have this kind of scratchy dry brush. So see how this white I'm kind of dragging down onto this darker pink that I painted on here. That's really how that works. We can take that a few places. We might do that even a little bit here. Right down here. Like that. We can come back in here. There's not white all the way down, but there's a few. So see how we can kind of layer in these whites, and they should help us start to connect what feels like, I think what Paula, you were feeling and what I was really feeling too, is how disconnected all this is, right? I wasn't feeling like things were coming together yet. But I think once we start working these two fluffies, I can also see as I do that, then I can darken a little bit here. So back with a more watery brush, I can go kind of darker with my gamboge yellow here.
What you up to, Sansan?
I can maybe take a little of that same color
What you up to?
over here. This is gamboge yellow. I'm kind of bringing it in over. How is that working for you guys? Using just the heavy tubed watercolor, not wet? Beyond the fact that it's the color, the tube makes it a little bit wet. Are you getting some interesting effects?
Well, it's easier to control, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And it does some interesting things.
I think I'm taking a break from my rose.
Did you send it, Diana?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw Jonathan send a note over
No.
saying that he's at the theater
Good for him.
painting and he wanted us to see it. So let's see what he did.
It.
Oh, look at that. That's fabulous.
I think the last one is the truer color. It's a little bit dark, but
Okay. I see what you're saying. Oh, Diana, I think it's looking terrific. But if you're tired of working on it, stop. This is a good stopping point.
yeah, what would you, is there anything obvious to you you would do?
I'm just looking. I'm liking the blue vase. And I love the balance of the blue vase, the darker blue vase on the top, on the bottom, and the blue flowers on the top. There you go, Paul. That's starting to look good. It's beautiful. Your brushwork is so great in watercolor, Paul. It's very, very much brings out your personality. I like it. I'm looking, Diana, let me see. So I like the balance of those things. I love the ochre color. I'm just wondering, I like the dark purple. I wonder if we should lighten a titch on the top. Like here,
Okay.
I'll show you exactly.
Oh.
Lighten the yellow background a little bit on the top left. Not the top left, but you know, you have this kind of purple that's grading up to a yellow.
Mm-hmm.
What if you lightened that? Yeah, I like that saturation of yellow. I like that color, but I'd like to see it a little bit lighter.
You mean whiter or?
Can you, what is the color that you use?
What I've used is yellow, ochre, vermilion, red, and white, basically.
Okay, so what if you tried in replacing white with Naples yellow?
Yeah, I could do that.
Try that. I like the mix, but I think it might be nice to just flatten it slightly. And you know, like Naples will flatten it while still giving it a nice yellow sheen.
And you think up in the top left corner?
No, there is I'll mark it.
Oh, you mean over the purple, over the shadow?
Not over the shadow. I like the shadow. On top of the shadow where the shadow transitions from shadow to yellow.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of the bottom third of the road. And then it
I
puts.
think my dog needs to go out. I'm sorry.
Is it raining up there? My dog is gonna wait. 'cause it's
Yeah, I
pouring
know,
rain.
and she hates the rain,
Like
so
done, huh?
I have to drag her, but she needs to go. Okay, Sunny.
Yeah, I'm talking about you, Chester. Come
He's
here.
like,
Come
Mommy,
here. Come here. Say hi.
oh, Chester, we love you,
Say hi, buddy.
Chester.
Chester, are you there? Can you
Here
see
is
him?
the Chester.
Chester, there he
Here he
is.
Here's Chester.
Hi, bud. We're not very exciting.
Oh, he's like, nope, I'm done.
No, he's like,
I'm gonna
Done.
bring Coco over.
So
Since we're
as I'm
sharing-
coming in here, I'm noticing that like I like to make the darker streaks coming up a little bit darker. So I'm going in with more purple and yellow. Sorry, just more dark purple, which I mixed with ultramarine blue and quinacridone red, but rather dark. And I got this wet, so it's a little bit wetter. And I'm like kind of brushing that in. I'm also going to take this color, with a little bit more red in it, like I'm experimenting with. Yeah, that could work. I'm going to bring that in up here.
Yeah, sorry, she really needed to go.
That's okay. So I created a red by mixing ultramarine blue, quinacridone red, and then a touch of cadmium red, this orangey red. And I got this really cool burgundy. And I'm now kind of darkening the stripes here. And then I'm gonna clean my brush off. Right, dry it out. And go back in with a little bit of yellow and white mixed together and put it in between. So up here,
Stay here for now.
things are a little bit more yellow, a little whiter. And I'm going back in. Basically, if I'm laying any whites down or yellows, they are not wet. I'm not getting them wet. I'm just using straight tube paints. Then I can see a couple of other areas where there's like yellow and white. And I'm seeing that there's kind of yellows and perhaps a teeny bit of green down here. Getting a little heavier and darker with my green. That's quite heavy, a little too heavy. So. Might have gotten too heavy with my white here. There might not be much fixing of that. We'll see. I just have to live with that. And then there are these little kind of light edges, like in here, here, there. I can actually put a little white using the same technique of just using white paint. I can kind of put an edge, a white edge right here. I feel like I kind of lost a little bit of white there, so I can add it back in. Maybe up here too. So I can actually add these white. Yeah, it does seem to be kind of working. Kind of. At the same time, I'm also feeling like, oh gosh, I've got to get much darker in my background. So I'm mixing green and red and getting kind of heavier. I don't know if you saw Jonathan's piece. He went super turquoise like this. Let's see. I'll show you. He went like that. He kind of went crazy, all out turquoise, which one could totally do, and that would work. So if you like that color. It's hard not to get excited about that. Crazy turquoise. You don't have to be the same level of light everywhere. You can go darker. You can make the paint in the background kind of go darker and lighter, depending on what subject it's next to. If the subject is dark, the petal is dark, you can make the color lighter. Yeah, that's coming along nicely, actually. This is a super hard push. I promise to be a little bit more careful with my sources the next time, so I don't hit y'all quite so hard. I like that turquoisey green. Pretty.
Can you look at mine, Leah? I just don't know where to go next. I feel a
Let's-
little lost.
Hold it up.
Oh.
So now, actually, it's looking beautiful. So now you want to add some of these dark and light stripes here,
Okay.
right? Using the same technique. It's actually significantly darker here, almost as dark as here. So I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to take a picture of
Okay.
something else so you can see some. Now, let's see. I'm going to stop the video for a second. And across the chat, I'm going to send a couple of areas and then I'll point them out. So here I use that dry brush technique to pull out
Yeah.
lights. And I also kind of brought that back here towards the center because that's kind of what's happening. Let's see. Here I got darker. And I also kind of tried to connect this. Yeah, everything's kind of yellow down here. Here, I'll show you in a second. I'll point. You just need to get like your darkers dark enough.
Okay.
Keep pushing the darks. And just know this is like super hard.
Okay. Yeah.
Harder than it should be. Right. So
I've wanted to give up about 3 times.
you're doing great.
There is no giving up.
Oh,
It looks beautiful. It's not like it's not beautiful.
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking at mine and thinking, oh, I bet I could go a touch darker. I bet I could go just a touch darker here with these leaves, with these petals. So I'm pushing just that much darker.
You're crazy, Sunny.
And I'm doing something kind of similar. So I'm just continuing to layer up in areas that I feel are kind of lacking oomph. I'm going a little darker with my contrast. Oh, sorry. I think that helps a little bit. And, once again, you guys, these classes are designed, I found in my own practice that when I try to offer classes that have a beginning point and an end point, right? Like 10 classes for blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work for people. Most people can't commit to 10 things in a row. So these classes are really designed so you can jump in and out of them as you need to. They're designed to kind of be in your life all the time, and you come when you can.
They are.
Right? That's what they're supposed to do. Like that, in my view, this kind of ongoing practice opportunities feels better to me than saying, okay, from this date to this date, we have something, then nothing, for weeks and weeks until the next time, this date to this date, we have something. So that's the idea behind these, is that you get some practice buddies. We try different things. Honestly, to me, whatever it is you guys do now, quite honestly, you've already much exceeded. In the first class, you all exceeded what I thought was possible with this subject when I realized how hard it was. So whatever happens now, it's okay.
Play safe is what you're saying. Don't ruin it.
I'm saying the exact opposite, dude.
Go wild.
I'm saying you've already achieved. So now it doesn't matter what happens. If you go too far, that's okay. Exactly, Paula, go wild.
I'm adding a lot of color here.
Yeah, do it. Fucking do it. At this point.
I'm having fun.
So one of the things that I notice here, and it's a little bit subtle and hard to see, I'm gonna sort of spread it out. Everything down here is kind of this yellowish green, right? Some of it is on the petals, some of it is stem. So if you can get things a little, boy, it looks like a uterus when you look at it like that. So I'll take a picture of this so you can really see that as well. So for me, when I started pulling those yellows in, and I'll take a, whoops, hold on. Take a picture of this for the thread, the source for the thread up close. So you can see it. And then I'm going to show you what I did. That for me was a real finishing layer, this kind of yellowish green that went everywhere here. I don't have to lay it, entirely perfectly. There. So that's what's happening at the source level. There's your yellow uterus. Here's my yellow uterus. Uterus-y shapes. So this helped for me, I think. And you can see.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
And you can see here, hold on, I'll pop back on in a second once I fix up this, I doctor this. And you can see that I did the same thing kind of here. Done. And I know that kind of crosses over several different areas. So that's why I'm pointing it out. I'm like, this to me is kind of a unifier, even though it's including several different, here we go. Yeah, this is so super challenging. So Paul, mess it up. If you want to mess it up, you've already achieved. So now just push it.
let's see.
Did you use with the cobalt blue, that was cobalt blue and green, or was that cobalt and red
For what?
for the lighter parts? It was just cobalt, wasn't it?
What, for here?
Yeah,
No, it's definitely cobalt and red, but it's mostly cobalt.
okay.
Definitely emphasis on the cobalt. More than on anything else. There's so much going on in this flower. Jesus. It's crazy.
All flowers are like that. Roses too.
Oh, roses are really hard. There are artists that spend their whole career trying to like get the perfect, figure out how to depict the rose.
Perfectly, yeah.
Well, get their technique, whatever it is they're
Yeah.
gonna do. It's really,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah, it's
I'm in a rose place right now.
yeah. And the thing about roses is you can't articulate them too much, otherwise it looks weird.
Yeah.
But if you articulate them too little, it also looks weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting with a simpler rose now. And it's actually harder.
Yeah. Because now you really have to focus on
Yeah,
the,
now you have to paint every detail, otherwise it doesn't look like a rose when it's a simplified form of when it's like a rose with fewer
petals.
petals. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. Welcome to the
Sorry.
world.
Sorry.
Finds the world of that is like a whole, there's a whole philosophy you're in the middle of developing now. Us too. Our philosophy is a little different. It's like, how are we going to make it through this dang exercise? What I feel like I see here is this kind of light pink, actually it's kind of darkish pink outline. Some of these petals. So I'm starting to add that because there's something Paula said about like, now we're just going for it. Like, so I'm like, oh, how can I take other colors and rope them in? So I'm doing a little light, once again, a kind of hard edge line of quinacridone red to see if that helps a bit. That does kind of a little bit. Interesting.
done some.
I feel like getting this color down here on the bottom petals has been very challenging. Almost impossible. I mean, if you could just get an approximate. You're in good shape. What you might notice happening as you kind of get more and more into detail is that as you try to kind of lock in some of these, you try to get the flower to look more cohesive, you'll find yourself moving from what we call edge to edge to edge. And you'll notice kind of little details about each edge. And that is really, so if you're really kind of in the zone, you'll be like, oh, I didn't notice that right here, it's a little bit darker along this line. And then here it's like a little bit lighter and grayer. And I'm just kind of noticing down here that it's a little bit darker here. And then lighter here in the petal. So you start to see stuff like that more clearly as you get into kind of some of the more transition-y details. You might notice more or less of those this time. But however much you can handle, that will like probably help the process of trying to pull this piece together. Get my function.
Okay, I've done a psychedelic underpainting for my next rose with the paints I had left on my palette. So
Send it over.
Let's
I mean,
see.
it looks like nothing yet, but that's okay.
Oh, they always look like something.
Oh, there it is. And
Right.
now I have no more paint on my palette.
So maybe it's time to take a breather.
Yeah.
Hello, buddy. Oh, totally psychedelic. Ah,
Yummy.
fabulous. Hi, buddy. No. I want you like this. Like this.
Oh, I love that, Diana.
Really cute.
The 5-minute rose.
It's so cute.
Well, it's not a rose yet. Not a rose yet. No. No. Baby. So Lisa, are you working a lot this week?
Yes, why do you ask?
Because I want to catch up and strategize.
Okay.
So when would be a good time for that?
Thursday might be good. Tomorrow's not
Okay.
good, but yeah. Thursday would be good.
Mhm.
We've got about 20 minutes left. So let's go another 10 or 15. If you feel like you want advice, you should send it over now. If you feel like, okay, I'm just working on this and I want to see what happens, just keep working.
Sunny, no. Mm-mm.
Let's see. Okay. All right, Paul, I like how your darks. So I feel like, Paul, I like how your bottom petals are dark. I feel like you've kind of lost the dark light divide happening here on the top. Can you see where I'm pointing? Paul?
He seems to be gone.
Sorry,
wait.
yeah,
Oh, there is.
I see that, yeah.
All right, so you need to get heavy, heavy dark in these areas, heavy dark.
Heavy dark, okay. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was that bad, but.
Yeah, they're heavy. This is heavy, this is light. And if you don't see how you have a nice, you have
Yeah,
fabulous variation down here, and that's why these petals are looking so nice. But up here, you don't have it. They all look kind of the same. So really, I would work in the next 10 or 15 minutes to push the darks in the top petals.
Okay.
It's a very lurid flower when you think about it. I believe I've actually painted this one in oil or acrylic. We've done this as a demo in a different subject. Never thought to do it in this one before, so. Oops. I'm also thinking that our first exercise back, I might want to return us to something a little bit easier,
Please.
like something like,
Aw.
remember this exercise?
I didn't do that one.
The city. All right. I might bring us to something a lot simpler for our next, for moving into cities, because this was hard. This was super hard. I mean, y'all did great, but this was super hard. I want to give you something a little bit more fun and less like stressful. Like Diana's psychedelic rose. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't have much. I didn't feel like putting up new paint on my palette. This is actually the paint from whenever I painted last Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Nice. What did you paint last Saturday? Do you remember?
Yeah, I was painting the rose.
Oh, yeah.
I was painting the rose.
What did Lotto think about it?
I haven't asked. I didn't paint with Lotto on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I haven't had time to paint.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So
Like that. Oh my God, this is so funny. Here, I have to show you this. He's Bazoo is in here. Here. Move this down.
so is that a new?
That's the new one. That's his name. And I got this new carpet and he just loves it.
Aw.
He just
Aw.
came in and is laying there like, because it was cement floor before, now it's like super warm. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Bazoo. Bazoo.
He's cute.
Really?
But does he belong to someone or is he a feral?
Oh, no, he is definitely a feral. There is no question.
And he's still so comfy with you?
Just with me, not really with anybody else. Even Rob, he's not really that into. He jumps, but I've been working with him for like almost 8 months now. Hey, Coco.
She wants to say hello.
Hold on, let me pop her up.
Oh, shit. Aw.
Aw.
Here's Coco.
Hey, Coco.
Yes, Coco.
You went to go see Ray, which is she didn't want to play with, it's like a golden retriever poodle mix, but she doesn't want to socialize with the other dog.
No,
He was trying to be nice to her and she was just like, no.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this.
She did see a poodle last week, like this brown poodle that she was really social with. It
Yeah.
was nice to see her trying to socialize with other dogs, even though she's not a purebred. You think she is though?
Papa, come up and say hi to everybody. Come on.
Who cares what they are?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean you can't compete. She's a smart dog. It would be nice to have like more. There's almost no tournaments with like mixed breeds.
Oh,
Yeah, that's-
tournaments? Are you trying to exhibit her?
I think she could do well with like obstacle courses and tricks and those things, but she's getting old now, so. We'll try. Well, maybe we'll enter. I have to do some more research and figure out, who is having what when. in the dog show world.
Yes, and Diana, this cat showed up at my window about a year ago, looking in one morning. And he looked in and Hermes looked out at him. And they look so much alike that I was
Yeah,
kind
they
of,
do.
and then he started coming around, but he wouldn't let anybody near him, but he would let me feed him. And then one morning about 8 months ago, he came to me with a bloody neck.
Oh, he had been fighting.
Somebody, and he was hurting, and I realized I couldn't, he wouldn't let me near him then. Just in general. And I was like, oh, he's so, he could die from a scratch like that.
Yeah.
So the vet told me, feed him like an immune supporting herbal remedy. I could feed him. So I started feeding him like several times a day with this herbal remedy. He healed. And then like after about 2 months, he let me, of me feeding him every day, he let me pet him. And then he would like jump away. And then Rob and I went away on vacation after about 5 months. And we came back and he was like, what the hell? Where have you been? And he came running over. And he was desperate for affection from me. So he let me pet him. And then he started jumping into my lap. It's weird. It's been this kind of long process. Sandra thinks he must have belonged to somebody, but I'm like, nope, he's incredibly skittish. So he definitely he does not act like a socialized cat. He just has the personality to be socialized. Oh, much better, Paul. Great job. Much better. Yep, I like that. Where's everybody else on this? You want to hold them up? I'm going to remove the spotlight. Love to kind of see where you all are at. Paula.
You can see it.
Oh my
I
God.
went crazy.
It's beautiful. Oh, Lisa.
Yeah, I'll do mine.
Fantastic.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
You guys, these are beautiful.
Funny, like you're challenged.
Getting there.
Well, you are getting there. And Paula and Paul, they're beautiful. Honestly, they're really beautiful. Paula, I'm impressed because I could see you were so quiet. I'm like, she's focusing. What I can see you doing is that you're going around the edges and you're trying to kind of figure out how to unify things.
The shape of the flower, and I'm trying to.
Yeah, and this is the weird thing, right? Like sometimes it's like this, like a unifying edge might go across several pieces.
Right.
It might be a color that unifies. It might be a petal shape that unifies. It might be a darker light that unifies. Oh my God. Keep working.
Okay.
Keep working. I don't want to stop. If you want to, it becomes obsessive.
Oh my God. I know.
So I will give you guys a video homework assignment. Optional. Don't have to do it. But if you're having a desire to do a watercolor next week, I'll send you some options.
Okay. So next week, no class, you said. No class next week.
Yeah, no class. I'll remind everybody. I take a week off between each quarter. And I take 2 weeks off at the end of the year. Then there's classes all the rest of the time. I used to not, for the first couple of years, I didn't take any break. I mean, I would occasionally just go, I have to stop. And I would like go somewhere for a couple of days. But for the COVID year, I don't think I did. I don't think I ever stopped. So they just kept going. And then I was like, oh my God, I have to create some kind of artificial break at some point, or we're all going to lose our minds.
Yeah, I mean that it is hard to do that. I mean, I've done that now because I was sick, but otherwise I don't take I don't take time off.
Yeah,
I don't.
right. And you, because you work for you kind of created your own job. But you have to, right? You have to take time off.
I know, but it's hard because
It
it's
is really hard. It is hard. I found the thing I found the hardest actually, I'm better at taking like a week vacation. I can do that. I cannot actually take a break during each week. So each week I work every day, doing at least one job, usually two.
Do you
Some-
like your Starbucks now?
Oh yeah, they're great. They're
Yeah.
great. It's hard work, you know. I mean, it's like hard work.
Yeah, but you enjoy it.
I love it. But I actually love it. I absolutely love it. So much fun. It's not that I don't love what I do, but you know, you still need breaks,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, in a week. And I can't seem to find a day off. And that's the really hard thing. Every once in a while in a week, I will go, I just can't work today. But most weeks, like you, Diana, I'm just like, I just keep plowing through. I'm like, every day there's something to do and I do it. And even on, I've tried to like take days off. It just doesn't work. So I have no days off in a week. The only days off I have are the weeks that I take off between classes.
I get it.
Mhm. It really helps to have Lotto because he can pick up a class, and Emma, because they can pick up classes for me.
Yeah.
And sometimes you will, Diana, kind of monitor a class, which is super helpful too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I'll be able to build in some time off. That is what I'm really hoping.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
should.
Yeah, but probably not this year. Paula, I think this is what Jesse lectures me about the most. Here's the truth. Like I went to paint like paintings at her house, and that was more like a vacation than I had had. Like I really like just painting 3 giant paintings was like relaxing to me. It's like it was the closest thing I had to time off in several years.
Because it was one project you were focusing on.
Well, I
instead-
finished quick. I finished it, and then I had a couple days not to have where I didn't have to do anything.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah. It was great. Like I finished them much faster than I thought I would. So I kind of blocked in like 10 days, and they were done in 4.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I was shocked. I didn't really know. It shocked me. But if you don't have to do anything else, like that's it. I'm like, you know, Jesse, they're like they take such good care of you. They're such good, like,
You get used to
they
that.
made me meals. They like took me wherever I needed to go. But really, honestly, I didn't go anywhere. I just, you know, like they, you know, I just got up, painted. There was coffee made for me already. It was very relaxing. And then I had 4 days where I didn't have to do anything because it had all been finished. So it was great. Let's stop the recording because I don't actually think we need it.